Hello and welcome to the Daily Millwall for Sunday, the 8th of August 2021. Now, on Sundays, I like to do stats videos. We call it Stat Sunday. But before we get into all of that, we're going to bring you this. And some more words from Gary Rowett, published today in the South London Press. This is londonnewsonline.co.uk. And they say Millwall boss Gary Rowett breaks down his team's display as they open championship campaign with a solid point. Gary Rowett was pleased with Millwall taking a point at QPR yesterday and is confident they will get stronger as the championship campaign continues. Jed Wallace fired the lines ahead in West London before Rob Dickie crashed home a 30-yard strike just after their half-hour mark. Rowett said, "It was a good start for us. We were really bright for the first 20 to 25 minutes. We imposed our game and a lot of things we've done in pre-season on QPR, which is not easy to do here. We hit the bar, scored a good goal, and had another chance with Scotty. Put Sav through 1v1, but the ball just wouldn't sit down quickly enough. And then maybe Johansson just started to dictate the game a little. And after our goal, after that period, we needed to get closer and disrupt that flow that he started to produce for QPR. We certainly tried, but the likes of Miko and Sav have only just played 60 minutes in the last 2 or 3 weeks due to COVID. I felt we ran out of energy just when we needed it most. We defended really well. It was an excellent goal from us, a great strike by Jed, well worked from a throw-in, a great strike from Dickie as he stepped out past our strikers. I felt as though we should have closed it down quicker. We had an opportunity to come out and we didn't do that. I think it was Maiko, unlike him, to get out quicker and stop the shot. But it's a great strike. They had spells on the ball in the second half where they started back us up. We had good spells where we caused them 1 or 2 problems. Sav had another good header close to their box. Miko Keftenbeld had a great shot which was narrowly over. I'm not displeased. Lovely to be part of a proper game of football. Lovely to see our fans out there. And nice to give them little bits of performance. We'll get better as the games go on. Well, I hope we do. And if we do, well, it's looking good because I thought we played alright yesterday. But how did we really play based on the statistics? We've all seen what we've seen with our own eyes on the highlights in the full match replay that you can get on iFollow. If you're subscribed from midnight, you can watch it. Or for those of you who actually went to the game, the 2,504 travelling fans, we've all seen it with our own eyes, but what do the numbers say? So we're going to jump into it here. This is from infogoal.net. This is the story of QPR 1, Millwall 1 in numbers. And the first number I'm going to highlight is the one in the middle above the red FT. 0.44 to 0.73. That is expected goals. Now, what is expected goals? Expected goals is when you have a shot. Where do you have it from? Is it right in front of the goal? Or is it from the halfway line? Now, the chance that's closer to the goal is going to be a higher chance of going in. So that's a higher expected goal because you're expected to score that. You're a professional footballer. You should be scoring those. But if it's if it's a pot shot from the halfway line, that's not expected to be a goal. So it's a low number. So then they add all these numbers up, and then you get the end of the thing with your expected goals. So as you can see, Millwall 0.73 expected goals, but we actually finished with 1 goal, and QPR were 0.44, and they ended up with 1 goal. So they probably got the better of it because they managed to get 1 goal when they only deserve to get 0.44. But it is what it is. So here's the story of the game. 11 minutes, Jed Wallace scores. Ballard got booked early on, straight after. Dickie got the goal on 31. Then Murray Wallace booked 43. George Saville booked 59. Not long after that, Saville came off. Ryan Lender came on. Then they made a couple of changes, and then we made the change that you're probably going to see a lot this season. Matt Smith coming on. This time he had like 12 minutes. Came on the 78th minute, and then right at the end, George Evans came off and Billy Mitchell came on. So there's that. So let's get to the ratings of the players from this website. Now, I'm, if you look at the stats videos from last season, this website is kind of crazy with their player ratings. I think it's all based on expected goals in terms of defending expected goals and scoring expected goals. So, but what do they do? So like, you've got Deweese 8.23 and Willock 7.09, and the rest of the they're the only QPR players 7 and above. You can see there the subs not too good either. But what about Millwall team? So Millwall, Wallace 7.78. So he's the top rated player for Millwall. Hutchinson 7.63. Saville 7.03. So 3 Millwall players in the green with 7 or above. And only Evans under 6, 5.66. So that's not too good. What do the subs? Under 6 as well. And so Ryan Leonard 5.82. He replaced George Saville, who's 7.03. But as we saw, Garrett Rest said he was tired. So that was that. So we've seen that. Now let's move on to this, the numbers of the game. So possession percentage of time on the ball, 52 QPR, 48 Millwall. Attempts on target 4-3. Attempts off target 4-6. Block shots, they had 3 block shots. We had 1 block shot. Goalkeeper saves 2 for them, 3 for us. So Bart being busier, the goalkeepers there. Total passes, so outpassed again by teams. This happens a lot. We are generally never have the most passes in a football game. So we were outpassed by 140 passes. Total passes 441 to 301. Completed passes 336 to 196. Corners 7 to 5. Offsides 0 to 1. Fouls 11 to 18. But yellow cards 0 for them and 3 for us. So that's a bit odd, isn't it? I see a lot of Millwall fans online having a go at the ref, saying we were basically playing with 12 against 12 men, and you can see that 11 fouls for them, they don't get a card. 18 fouls for us, but we've got 3 cards. So something's happened there, isn't it? So now let's have a look at the maps. I told you about expected goals, where the shots happen on the pitch, and you can see here. So this is QPR. This is QPR attacking. They're attacking the Millwall goal. This is where their shots came. Only 1 shot in the area. Our defense was pretty solid, keeping them away, but they scored. Now the yellow dot, if you can see it there, that was the goal. I'm trying to click. It's so small, can't even click on it. So Rob Dickey, 2% chance of that being a goal from taking all the way out there. But do you notice anything in particular? So we've got a grouping here. Now, I don't think this is a coincidence here. I think that what's happened is we've got a little situation now where Bartosz Białkowski, I think, has a reputation for not being too good on these kind of shots coming from here. And I think it's in the scouting report when teams scout Millwall and scout Bart Białkowski that this is coming up. And I think this is from, remember last season when Amiobi had a couple of goals against him and us, and he was basically coming down the right, cutting in, taking a shot. And he was doing that time after time after time. And after the game, Garrett was digging the players out, saying, you know, we told them that was going to happen. We told them they had to stop that from happening, but they didn't stop it from happening. So he was digging the players out. And you can see here, this grouping of little dots in them, this is not a coincidence. I think what they've been told is, if you get in this area, if you shoot across goal, we might be scoring. So what I mean by that is, when you're coming towards the goal, come down right of centre and shoot, aiming for that left side post. Go across the keeper. because maybe there's something that he can't dive to his right too good, especially if or maybe he positions himself too far on the left. Just don't know, but something's going on here where I think Mill scouts, I imagine they scout the opposition, but maybe they should be scouting, having a look at what's happening here with Bart, how Bart's playing, and try and improve him. Maybe the goalkeeping coach, he can sort that out and say, like, okay, this is happening, we need to change it, we need to look at it and do something else, because it seems something's happening there. They've sussed, especially a manager like Mark Warburton. I think he's a bit clued up, so I think other managers like Chris Hutton, Neil Warnock, they'll have similar ways of playing. So there you can go. You see that. So one chance for QPR in our area, and that was right at the end. Jordi Luis, 90 plus 3 minutes in injury time. That had a 9% chance of going in. I believe that was the header right at the end. But you can see here Millwall attacking. Four chances we had in the area. Now our chances were very, very, very small. You can see the size of the dots. The smaller the dot, the smaller the chance. You go down here. So here, look. Probability of scoring 0.2, tiny one. Bigger it is, and if it's got a yellow around it, that's a goal. So Millwall's goal was all the way out here by the semicircle, just outside the area. 11 minutes, 8% chance that wasn't going in, but we had a better chance, and that's this one here. George Saville 48. That was 31% chance of going in. So you take that chance 10 times, 3 times it's going in. But you know, I thought we played alright. So first half, there you go. This is the first half. Goal attempts in the first half. Pretty even though. But impressive that QPR were kept at bay. Second half. There you go. Similar. Less attacking by Millwall in the second half. Only 4 chances, and 3 of them were minute. One of them could have probably been scored, but maybe if George Saville was a bit more match fit, maybe that would have went in. So let's scroll down here and see. I wanted to show you this. See the fairness rating there, where it says fairness rating. That's 90.64, and what that basically means is the result. Was it fair or was it unfair based on expected goals? Was one team better than the other, and then they ended up the team that got battered ended up winning? Because that would have been unfair, because they got a bit lucky. But we've got a fairness rating of 90.64. That's out of 100, so you can see there this is a fair result according to this website. The shots that we've had over the whole game, basically, it's pretty fair. That this game ended up in a draw with these chances. That happened, and I think it was a tale of 2 really good defenses. So, but yet again, is this going to be our season this season? Similar to last season, a draw, lose, win, draw, lose, win, lose, draw. That's, if you're going to play 3 games, it would be more advantageous to you to win 1, lose 1, and then win 1, than to draw all 3, or to win 1 and lose 2. If you win 1 and lose 2, it's the same as drawing 3. Or the only thing being a negative goal difference. With the draws, there's the goal difference evens itself out. Because you score 1, you concede 1, it's 1-1. The goal difference is 0. But it would be better for you, or it would be the same if you won 1 game, you get 3 points, then you lose 2. It's the same as drawing 3 games. There's no incentive there. And the same with now it would be better to win 2 and lose 1 than drawing 3. Obviously, because you get 6 points. But you really do need to win games. Win games. Now, this was against QPR, a very good team. They finished the season strongly. They've improved their squad by a considerable amount. So this draw seems to be a pretty good result, especially as we haven't won there in 32 years. So you've seen that. Now we're going to go to another site. This is called whoscored.com. Now whoscored.com is where the EFL, if you've ever seen on Twitter their team of the week, this is where they get their team of the week from. The ratings from this website, whoscored.com. So this is a match summary. It says QPR were effective at creating goal scoring opportunities from long shot situations. And the same for Millwall. Well, both teams had to because the defences were pretty solid. Queen's Park Rangers favoured long shots. So they were trying to do the long shots. That was part of their game plan, which is what I was saying about Bart Biakowski before. Have they figured something out? If they figured something out, we need to figure something out to stop what they figured something out. Because it happened before against Nottingham Forest, it's happened other times as well. So here they got the attempts, 11 to 10, so they had more. Open play 9 to 7, set piece 2 to 2, counter attack we had 1, they had 0. You can see here. So actually, because both teams scored 1 goal, our conversion rate was better than theirs. They had 9%, we had 10%, because one goal from 10 shots is 10%. So we actually got more out of the game than they did. Here you can see the attack sides, mostly going down the right hand side for us and mostly going down the left hand side for them. And you can see player positions. I'm going to click it up now. Here you can see Jed Wallace was the point man further forward than Benik Afobe. Scott Malone playing quite far forward. And you can see here the Queen's Park Rangers really grouping in that area where they were taking those long shots from. There was a massive gap here apparently on the right hand side between McNamara and Jed. Now Jed, was that McNamara being pushed back by QPR coming down that left hand side, which I've just shown you here, the attack side? Probably was. And also we've got what looks like, I think there's George Evans and Kefton Bell playing off basically in the same spot. So that's interesting to see. Okay. And you can see the goalkeepers as well. Bart playing quite far back. Further back than the QPR goalkeeper, who was playing, whose average position was up by the penalty spot. So that's interesting as well. Not much, but mildly interesting. If you've already sussed it, you can see the player ratings on the right hand side. So Robert Dickey, man of the match, 8.6. Jordi DeWeese, 8.4, and then nearly a whole 10% drop down to Johan Barber at 7.3. So a whole 1.1 difference between Jordi and Johan. And the highest rated Millwall player, Scott Malone. Scott Malone 7.3, Sean Hutchinson 7.2. So that is interesting. So we're gonna move on now to this. So I've already shown you all the match action there, the goal scorers. We've got Jordi DeWeese with the assist for Robert Dickey. That probably helped get his rating up. The crowd overall was 16,127 with 2,488 Millwall fans. So about 25 or so Millwall fans didn't get into the ground. after buying a ticket. I wonder what happened there. Maybe the tickets didn't come in the post, or they just swerved it. Who knows? So here you go. You can see the ratings for Millwall. George Evans, the lowest one there, 6.0. Highest rating, as we've seen, Scott Malone, 7.3. Hutchinson, 7.2. Jed Wallace, 7.1. So those were the only 3 players with 7 and above for Millwall. And everyone else is pretty bang in the middle of the 6s there. But for QPR, their defenders were a cut above. 8.6, 8.4, 7.3. And yeah, pretty similar in defense, except Odibarjo, 6.1 for them. And their subs really didn't get a high rating when they came on, 6 and 6. Whereas our subs got pretty decent ratings when they came in. Including Billy Mitchell wasn't on for that long, but he still outranked the player he came on for, 6.0, George Evans. So he was on for like probably 3 or 4 minutes, just injury time. But he got higher rating than George Evans, who had 88 minutes on the pitch. So that's kind of damning there. That is kind of damning when the player who replaces you gets a better score than you. That is not good at all. So what we're going to do is we're going to go through. I'm going to click through. If you haven't seen one of these videos before, I'm going to click through the things at the bottom, and it's going to show up what which players got the thing that I click on. So total shots, I'm going to click on that, and these are the players who had the shots. So Jed Wallace 3, Willock 3, McNamara 2, George Saville 2. So interesting. Okay. Possession. Who had the most possession? Now, last season, our possession was dominated by Ryan Woods, who did the little pick up the ball, pass it back 3 yards to someone else, then pick it up again. Now, wow, this is shocking. So what it is, so the number here, so like looking at Hutchinson 6, so that's 6% of the total possession of the whole game. That's what that is. So in terms of minutes on the ball of every player, add it all up and then you divide it by what that player had on it. So Hutchinson was highest for us with 6%. But when you compare that to, so like we've seen with the passing stats, they outpassed us a lot. And you can see they had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They had 5 players on with more than 6% of the ball. And Barbet had 7.3. Pretty much the back 3 and the 2 central midfielders had a lot of the possession. But you compare that to Millwall, just Hutchinson on his own. McNamara had a lot. He was the next one for Millwall. But a Phobie, 1.1, that is really low. So a Phobie, okay. Let's get rid of that. I don't know why that come on. So a Phobie went off. When did he go off? I think it was like the 60th minute or so, wasn't it? 68 minutes, I think it was. So in 68 minutes on the pitch, he only had 1.1% of the possession. Well, now that would be because he did get subbed off. So in terms of the total possession of the game, he didn't play in the whole game, so it would be lower. But that is really low, 1.1% of the possession. Well, it depends what type of striker he is. I mean, if he's like Fox in the box, does a lot of he's running off the ball, that you could accept it being that low. But still, Scott Malone to 2.5. Maybe if that was higher, Maybe we would have done more if Malone was on the ball more. Maybe not. So pass success percentage. So it was 76 for them, 65 for us. So their passes were more accurate. That would probably be because they were playing shorter balls between the midfield and the defenders, and that pretty much looks like what was going on here. All of the midfielders except for Wallace on the left for QPR had a very high 80%. Wallace had Lee Wallace, I believe that's Lee Wallace. He had 65. The goalkeeper for them 73. Interesting. So, but for Millwall, it's a Ballard, Evans not good on the ball. Afobe 57, Biakowski 56, and that would probably be down to Biakowski's long balls not being too accurate. All through last season when I was doing these videos, that was a weakness in our game, in Biakowski's game, is he would take 10 long balls and it would come up as, in terms of only three of them actually found a Millwall man, and maybe that's something else that needs to be looked at there. So dribbles, 10 for them, 4 for us, and those are the players who had them. Aerials 1, they actually outwon the aerials 40 to 34. Dykes 11. Okay. And again, for the defenders at the back, that's probably why they got such high ratings, and Dickey got man of the match, 9 there. So he scored a goal and he won 9 aerial battles. And for Millwall, 5-5-5 across the back. Malone and Jed Wallace, nothing. Afobe 4. Saville 5. Matt Smith 4 when he came on. So that's interesting. Tackles, we actually had more tackles than them, 12 to 19. And none of the attacking players from both sides had won a tackle. DeWeese 4 there. But Keftenbeld 5. Hutchison 3. Malone 5. Impressive. Okay, so corners 7 to 5. And these are who took them. Dispossessed, that's basically losing the ball. Jed Wallace 2 times, Afobe and Saville. And the geezer on the right wing for QPR 4 times, and Willock 4 times. So there you go. Now I'm going to move on and do this. And this is basically what we've just seen, but a little bit more. There's a few more things, but it's in a list. So what we're going to do is we're going to manipulate this list by doing a rating. Click on it and it will change it. So Scott Malone, best player for Millwall, 7.3. Then 7.24 for Hutchison, 7.1 for Jed Wallace, 6.7 Keftenbeld, and then that's a pretty high rating for Biakowski, 6.6. That's pretty good. And as we've seen, George Evans bringing up the rear with 6.02. And you can see here on the left hand side, so 87 minutes George Evans went off. Billy Mitchell came on 87 minutes, and he got a higher rating than him by just having 2 touches, 100% passing rate. He got a better rating than George Evans. Now what does that mean? Does that mean, I don't know, it means the rating system on this website might be a bit screwed up, or it might be that when you've got something to do and you do it well, you get a good rating. If you don't do it too well, you don't get a good rating. And in terms of passing, George Evans did 53.6%. So for every 10 passes he made, only 5 of them were accurate. That's not very good. Having half your passes be inaccurate, it's not good for a midfielder. Really, really isn't good for a midfielder. Now, if you're a striker, maybe not too bad. And you can see here, Matt Smith, his passing was only 20% accurate. He's not expected to pass the ball. He's expected to jump and jump like a salmon, get on the end of long balls and crosses. So, in terms of touches, who had the most touches for Millwall? Yep, Sean Hutchinson, 66. McNamara, 57. Danny Ballard, 47. Not bad for his league debut. Murray Wallace, 46. And a whole slew of players in 40. In terms of starting players, Benica Phobie in 77 minutes, only 16 touches of the ball. He wasn't involved a lot, was he? 1.1% of the game possession and 16 touches of the ball. Now you see Matt Smith when he come on, it's 6 touches, and he only had like 20 minutes on the pitch. Now Ryan Leonard as well had as many touches more or less as Benica Phobie, and he only had 30 minutes on the pitch. So maybe if we got Benica Phobie involved more, maybe we could have won that game, or maybe not. I don't know. Or maybe that's why QPR didn't lose that game and draw that game, because the defence was really good and they managed to keep Benica Phobie quiet. So you could look at it that way as well. So who had the most shots for Millwall? So Jed Wallace 3, but only 1 was on target. How many shots did we have on target? 3. That's not bad. See, Phobie, see, he had 1 shot, but it was on target. Now that's what you want, 100%. If he was involved more, if he had 2 shots and 2 were on target, maybe one of them would have been a goal. If you had 3 shots, 3 were on target, maybe he would have had another goal or 1 more. McNamara 2 shots, but it wasn't on target. And 3 players here, Kiftенbeld, Murray Wallace had shots and they weren't on target. Aerials 1, I think we've already seen that, but yeah, 5-5-5, 4-4-4. So every player except for Billy Mitchell, Biakowski, Malone and Wallace won an aerial. So that's overall. I'm going to move on now to offense. We've seen shots on target, key passes. Some Scott Malone 3, Hutchison 1, Benica Phobie 1, Jed Wallace 1. Dribbles, I think we've seen that on the previous page. Yeah. Fouled, I believe that means they were fouled, or they, yeah, I think so. Disp means dispossessed, so that basically means having the ball taken off you, and only 3 players had the ball taken off them: Saville, Phobie and Jed Wallace. Because they were going forward trying to make things happen. That's how that happens. Now, unscheduled touches is poor ball control, and a lot of the team there had at least one of them. You got 9 players there, mostly Jed Wallace, Mikael Kiftенbeld, Scott Malone, and then you've got the rest there with 1. Let's move on to defense. So total tackles, who had the most tackles from all? Scott Malone, Mikael Kiftенbeld, 8 players with tackles. Interceptions, only 3 Millwall players with interceptions there. McNamara with 2, Malone and Saville. Clearances, Danny Ballard 10, Sean Hutchinson 7, Murray Wallace 6, and then you've got all of these players with 1. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 players. Even Matty Smith getting involved there and clearing the ball out. Block shots. So that means they should block the shot from QPR. Sean Hutchinson, Malone, and that was it. Moving on now to passing. So who had the most passes for Millwall? Hutchinson 48, McNamara 34, Danny Ballard 31. Interesting, but accuracy quite low. So in terms of having the most touches on the ball and then having a high accuracy, that would probably be George Saville there. 26 passes, 73.1% accuracy. And then below him, Jed Wallace 21, but 76.2% accuracy. But look at this, Ryan Leonard, even though he come on 30 minutes, 10 passes, 90% accuracy. That is pretty good there from Ryan Leonard. It seems he's been G'd up there with all these players coming in around him, and he's really got a fight on for his place now. With Kefton Bell and George Evans seemingly Garrett's buddies, players that he's managed before at other clubs, and Ryan Leonard's got to do something to stand out there, and he is coming off the bench doing that. And even Billy Mitchell, one pass, but it was accurate, so there you go. Not too good for Matt Smith, but again, we don't want him to pass the ball really. Just get on the end of it, son. So crosses. It's 9 from Jed Wallace, but accuracy. Accurate means they found a Millwall player. Only one cross found a Millwall player. Now that was because, as we've seen on the previous page, the QPR defence was outstanding. They won aerial battles. They were amazing, apparently. So here again, Scott Malone's 9, but only 2 accurate. Danny McNamara had 4 crosses, not 1 to a Millwall player. George Evans similar, 2 and 0. Benicophobe actually 2 and 1. So that's 50%. He's got 50% crossing accuracy, and what did he have? 100%. He had one shot on target. So 100% shooting accuracy. So that was probably the key. Get Benic involved more, and we could have done something there. Hopefully, when we play teams that don't have a defense as good as QPR, Bennett will start banging him in. We will hope that. So let's move on to long balls. Now, this is what I said about Biakowski, which kind of drags his score down, is long balls being when they roll it back to the keeper and he's got to kick it along, but also I believe goal kicks, because we do it the old school way. We just bomb it forward, even though we don't really have anyone to aim to. Really, maybe that's something that we could look at. When you take a goal kick, maybe push Cooper up there and bring George Evans back in to fill for him, or Ryan Leonard back to fill for him, and then once Jay Cooper's either won the ball or lost the ball, or whatever, then they can run back and switch places. Maybe that's something you can look at, because you're not really taking these long goal kicks. You've got no one really to aim at. So here we go. So 16 long balls for Hutchinson, 7 were accurate. It's not the best, but so Biakowski 14 and 6. So that's just under half. That's what really messes with his score. In terms of pure stats, that's not a good stat, and that knocks his ratings down. If it wasn't for the long ball accuracy, it would probably be in 7s every week. But it's just not. So George Evans 11 and 2. That's really poor. Ballard 7 and 2. Kifton Bell 7 and 2. McNamara 5 and 1. Wallace 5 and 1. That's 20%. That's not too good. But again, who long ball to who? There's no one up. There's no tall bloke up front. No, well there was when Matt Smith came on, but not really. So Jed Wallace 2 and 1. That's not too bad. And Ryan Leonard 1 and 1 is spot on. So his passing was accurate and his long balls are accurate. So there you go. That is the story of yesterday's game in statistics, and I think what that tells us is that QPR's defense was really, really good. Benicophobe is a decent player. If we managed to get him involved more in the game, maybe we would have done more. Ryan Leonard's got a rocket up his arse. He's coming off the bench, putting in numbers, and George Evans. A lot of the fans are saying it, and it seems he's not really doing it on the pitch so far. A lot of fans are saying it because they're seeing it, and they're not really liking what they're seeing from George Evans, and maybe the numbers agree with that. So anyway, there you go. That's it for Stats Sunday. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.